I'm not a fan of partnerships at all. I've just seen too many stories over the years of partnerships that went really bad. Expectations from one partner were one thing, and expectations for the other partner were other things, and it never worked out. And I could not. i- If you need somebody, don't partner with somebody for a skill set. You need to hire for a skill set. And I see people make this mistake all the time. I'm right now in the middle of helping somebody clean something up where they entered into a partnership with somebody because they thought that that person had more experience than them, and they put a whole bunch of money into a project, and that partner used the money for another project and didn't get done the project that he was supposed to be in with the partnership. And if your documents aren't like nailed down better than a prenup in a marriage, then you are going to have trouble. And a partnership is just a terrible way to go about doing business. You need to hire expertise. If you are the money in a situation, you need to lend with debt. Being in partnerships is situations where I've never seen them worked out. Very rarely, occasionally, does a joint venture make sense on an individual project? But in terms of partnerships moving forward in business, it's just not something that works. People's visions of what life will be and what has to be done on projects is very different. And even though you might work with someone well for a period of time, people change. When you enter into a business partnership, that's something that lasts for years. And if you need to get out of it, you might not be able to get out of it. I mentioned the one project that we're going through right now where somebody just took the money and used it for another project. And now there's lawsuits going back. Everybody's screaming at each other. Everybody's upset. But those aren't even the worst ones that I've seen. I've seen some really bad ones. I saw just for spite I saw somebody refuse to sell a house and refuse to collect any rent. And so it was a house, it was in another city, and it was a boots on the ground situation and a money lender from afar. And they started to disagree on what should happen to this house. And purely for spite, the person that was in the boots on the ground on the person that was boots on the ground simply decided that they wouldn't sell the house and they wouldn't rent it and collect any money. They weren't out of pocket any money. It didn't matter to them, but it mattered a whole lot for that joint venture partner who spent years trying to get that property back. It was terrible. And another one recently that happened was I saw somebody partner with their contractor because their thought was, hey, this project's going to be expensive. I want to have my contractor who's done a whole bunch of projects for me in the past. They're really good. I really like them. But now they can come in and they can do the labor for free. And then I'll split the revenue that we get when we flip the house. The problem was that now the contractor was working on the house for free. So said contractor had to go out and get other contracting jobs and was working other projects instead of the project that they had agreed to work on. They had to put food on their table. And the joint venture agreement and the partnership never even considered the fact that, yes, while on paper it might look great, that it was a good partner because they were going to be able to handle the construction, and maybe the person who brought the deal lacked some of the skill sets necessary to do said construction. And I thought it was a great idea. And it just absolutely backfired on them. And it's just been a total mess to clean up. I just highly encourage you, if don't do a partnership. I never seen them work out. They might work out for a very brief period of time, and a brief period of time could be like a year or so, but people's ideas change, especially when money comes involved and moving pieces. There should be one person at the helm, one person making a decision. And if you do ever decide to go into a joint venture situation, it needs to be a joint venture for that one very specific project that you're going to go in and do. You need to have a joint venture agreement that outlines everybody's responsibilities and who does what. And anyway, I've just seen them be a huge mess, and I'm not a fan of partnerships. If you've had a really successful partnership, or if you've had a terrible situation in a partnership, tell us about your story in the comments. I'd love to hear it. Prove me wrong. Maybe I just don't see it the way you see it, but I'd love to hear about partnerships that work, because I only know one or two that have ever worked for any period of time that did not involve a couple that was married. Okay. If you're interested in talking about growing your money, my name is Rich Lennon. Give me a like, share, follow. I'm on a whole bunch of new channels now. You can find me at richlennon.com and download the Smarter Wealth Blueprint. No partnerships. I just don't see them fail. They normally come from a lack of confidence that you can do the project yourself or you could do the venture yourself. Hire that skill set. Take debt on the asset. Partnerships is a bad way to go. They will cost you way more money than you think possible. All right. Have a good one.